So this is a speed run I did, I would say most recently, but you could watch this video 10 years later and it won't be recent at all. But this is my fastest single hero speed run, and uh, obviously in Bard's Tale 1, I'm starting from scratch, and I'm rolling right now a half orc because they have the best constitution, and it's really critical for the early part of the game. And I'm really looking for the 10 IQ, 11 luck, 18 con. I'm not too concerned about dex or strength. In fact, I'd like low dex and high strength. That'd be preferable. Because high dex actually causes problems, as I'll explain later on with the Overlords. And I got a 17 for a mana roll, which is the best possible mana roll, which is very good. 28, just 1 point shy of 29, which is the highest possible hit point roll. So this is actually a very good roll. I'm very pleased with it, and it got it in 30 seconds too. So um, it took me a good 20 minutes to actually get to start this speed run, just rolling and failing and rolling and failing and some other failures. And anyway, I was quite pleased with the roll. And I'm quite pleased to have found the magicians here. This is kind of unusual. Um, that's a stroke of good fortune to fight 4 magicians right at the beginning and get the um, that cast. Have them do that little blank, just cast a spell that doesn't appear to do anything. Um, and I'm gonna basically that's the key to this early game. I say early game, the early part of the speed run, and we go pummel Samurai Lord till we hit 14,000 experience, and then we'll go. Um, I was forced to fight those skeletons, by the way. Anyway, so in the Bard's Tale DOS edition, there are a lot of bugs, and the one we exploit the most is the magician's cast. Now, normally what it's supposed to do is make it harder for you to hit the magicians, but the bug makes it so that you will always hit. You will not miss anything else ever, um, as long as you don't remove all entities from your party and or leave the game. So now for the remainder of the game, as long as I don't remove all my heroes and not have a entity in the special slot, I will retain um, that bonus essentially. And it's really important because it lets you hit the the Ogre Lords that you'd normally have to have at least positive 2 AC to hit. And getting positive 2 AC on a mage is very, very difficult until much later. And we hit 14k XP, and then we immediately run and start killing Ogre Lords. They are the fastest way to get experience outside of Harken 1. And we're in no condition to be in Harken 1 right now at level, solo level 6 or 7 magic user. I guess I'm a conjurer right now. We go in and out of the catacombs because it's the fastest way to reset the Ogre Lords. It's much faster than running all the way back to the guild or going anywhere else that I've been able to find. And you'll notice here that the Ogre Lords have a particular affinity for stone elementals. This is another interesting. I don't know what it is. But my kind of gut reaction is that about 75% of the time, the Ogre Lords have a preference for a stone element for whatever's in the special slot. Actually, in the case where there's only one hero and one person in the special slot. So if I were to add another hero, it seems to me that the stone elemental only gets hit about a third of the time. But if you have just one hero and one stone elemental, the stone elemental gets hit about 3/4 of the time. And that allows you to do this kind of stuff. Because otherwise, the Overlords, they deal far more damage on average than they do provide you in gold. So that it's a, on average, you lose gold over time fighting them, which is not too big of a deal, except if you have no gold and then you end up being very low hit points and no way to heal, and then the game is over. But because they have the affinity for the stone elemental, you can they end up being gold neutral or slightly positive. Um, so we do this a lot. We do it till we hit 90k, which gets us to level 10. And as a half orc by level 10, you've got close to about 90 hit points, um, which sets you up really well to be able to get levels 11, 12, and 13 by killing off the Spectre, which we'll see here in a bit. There's also, this is kind of going by pretty fast, but you'll notice that there's kind of a bias towards plate armors and halberd as items that are dropping from these ogres. There's another, I don't know, it's an RNG bug of some sort where it kind of latches on to pairs of items like halberds and plate armor, or chain mails and war axes, or is another one I think I've seen, or scale mail and broadswords. And I don't know what it is. I don't really know the rationale behind it, but it's a clear pattern. And the plate mail and halberd is really, it's the best pattern to get. And maybe 1 out of 7 or 8 games you get a plate mail halberd. So I got a good roll. I got a plate mail halberd game, which gives me a lot of gold, and I got those magicians right at the beginning. That saved me a good 5 to 7 minutes right there. And you'll see later on in the speed run, I end up blowing about 7 minutes. Just foolishness. I also say my mechanics in this were pretty bad. My hands were really cold, and it was only like the second game of the third attempt. I mean, I really hadn't done a whole lot, so my hands were like not practiced, and I was just freezing to death the whole time. So my hands were really cold too. So this is not a good mechanics game, but there were some other uh, efficiencies that come along. One of the efficiencies here is I got a bunch of IQ points and I got a 16 luck. That's really important. So I'm the equivalent of level 12 right now in terms of my saving throw for a flea, and that's just critical. So now what I'm doing is I need to farm up 3k gold. Um, in fact, I should have. I lost some time and efficiency. Normally I do this when I'm trying to get hit by the magicians to get that magician bonus and farm up 3k gold at the same time. And I made some timing mistakes and such, but probably only cost me about 2 minutes, I would say, a minute, 2 minutes. And that was actually, I take that back. That was pretty quick, actually. I did well there. I think the plate armors helped a lot. So it's probably neutral, I think, even though I could have timed some stuff a little better. And I just forgot to get my full 40 mana points is actually a lot for level 10. And it's a function of having 17 to start out with. That 10 hit point loss on the trap had me concerned. So well, actually I chose to keep the stone elemental. Sometimes I don't bring them along on the first run. Here I chose to because it was such a good run, I figured I may as well keep them along the first time just in case. I don't think, you'll see what I do here in a second. So I'm going to go and kill the Spectre once. You got to get the eye right away because farming up the gold, like the 4k gold for your next spell level and the 7k after that and 10 and 20,000, that ends up being a limiting factor on how fast you can do this. So you have to go down here and get whack the Spectre to get gold by selling the eyeballs, just so you can get your spell levels. It's easy to get the experience. It's much harder to get the gold. So now we've got the eye, but we're going to go back because I've got still a ton of mana and a ton of hit points, and that was kind of fortunate. And this time I'm going to lose a level, and I'll be level 9, which is the riskiest part, because now you're in what's the equivalent of Harken for 2 levels that you've got to escape. And you're level 9, which means your saving throw is just abysmal. But gratefully I have 16 luck, so it's actually like I'm level 10, which is average. It's very risky. Um, I've probably, I succeed in this process. You saw I took that huge hit there. I succeed in this process 1 out of every 10 times. So I can get this far, and 1 out of every 10 times I actually escape. I say escape. I would say get to the sorcerer class in under 15 minutes. I mostly die trying to flee from in the catacombs, or the specter hits me after I've been beaten up a little bit by either traps or um, I've had to fight 1 round against the creeps, and that's taken a lot out of me. So anyway, we were lucked out, and we're 11 minutes in, and that's a really good time. I think I killed my first eye right around 10 minutes. I can, in some of my fast but failed runs, a good time is to have your first eye at under 10 minutes. I've got 2 eyes here at 11:35 and a level, which is great. So, and the paranoid part of me would want to get a stone elemental to save my rear end from a fight. So I gotta heal up. I just can't afford 8 barbarians and failing a flee or something like that. That'd be tragic. And so heal up, go back again. I'm now at level 11. I got that luck point. So now I'm the equivalent of level 14. So I shouldn't have any more problems with fleeing. Um, but you've got to kill this specter a bunch when you're this level, as a low level conjurer. I say low level, but um, before you swap to the sorcerer class, because you have to save up enough gold so that you can get your sorcerer, so you can get mind blade. It's not enough just to get your, the 30,000 or so for level 6 and level 7 of your conjurer spells. Because the sorcerer, you set yourself back to level 1 again. Now you get a little bonus, and maybe your luck's a little higher. But every time you go down, you have there's 2 forced encounters that you saw me flee from here. And those can be blue dragons or doppelgangers, and it's real easy. You gotta get lucky and make your saving throws, because um, it's very easy to you will almost certainly lose most fights here if you have less than 200 hit points. Everything just gangs up on you, and everything hits you, and Jackalwares hit for 30 plus damage. Spellcasters hurt. Um, Ogre magicians are basically unkillable. You've got like 2 rounds to kill them, even if you have like Shock Sphere. It's you really don't want to fight. You really got to make your fling runs, or your flee throws. But we do well here. And now I'm level 12. And every time you lose a level, you also lose a saving throw point when you bump from an even level down to an odd level. Um, so that pain is most felt when you're level 10 and you get dropped down to 9. So now I'm level 12. I think my luck is 18. Yeah, so basically I will make all my fleeing throws now. And I do. My int is real low, my IQ here, so that's a problem. And that being said, it ends up working out okay. But that's what I'm thinking right now as I'm playing this, is like, okay, my hit points are really good. My luck is really, really good. I'm setting myself up well. The real question is am I going to have mana problems down the line or spell points? Sorry, I play so many different games with it, but spell points, mana points. Anyway, my mechanics, again, not the best mechanics game, but or mechanics run, I would say. So I want to heal up just because, in theory, I might miss a flea or a trap can, sometimes traps get you down. Better safe than sorry. Although technically I might not have needed it because my luck was so high, but there's always a blue dragon or a doppelganger. They roll pretty high. Anyway, in case you don't know, so what I'm doing here is the level drain drops you a level, but if you heal your level drain at these temples, it actually puts you to the exact amount that you would need for your next level. So let's say you're level 10, and it doesn't matter what you're level 10. When you get hit by a life drain, you drop to level 9, and then when you heal it, you get restored to level 10, but then your experience is set to exactly what you need for a level 11. So as long as you heal up, you can think of every life drain as knocking you down 1 point, um, and the heal bumps you up 2 points for a net of 1. But it costs roughly 10k gold. It varies based on your level, but somewhere between 8 and 11k to heal up. So that sort of ends up being a limiting factor into how fast you can use this level drain feature to level up your hero. So this is actually only the second time I've ever completed uh, a one hero challenge. And it's not really one because I end up dying here, but substantially just one hero. And it's not even YOLO, like you only live once. I end up dying 2 or 3 times. They're all suicides actually, which is fun, amusing uh, and frustrating because I lost a good 5-6 minutes. I would have had a much faster time. Anyway, so I've changed class to Sorcerer, uh, and you basically got to bump up to 130k XP, and that gets you your Mind Blade. Um, I have 18 luck, and it may have been faster and more time efficient to actually get level 2 and then go straight to the Spectre for all the Sorcerer levels. Um, I'd have to I need to go back and do the math on that. Because if I think out loud here, if I have 18 luck, that's 6, that's a 6 bonus levels. Sorcerer gets +2, 7, 8. Yeah, so level 2 Sorcerer is the equivalent of a level 10 Conjurer. So maybe actually it's good. Maybe level 4 would have been better. You do all this work and you're 20 minutes into a speed run and dying and starting over again is frustrating, especially when you have such a good start. Anyway, so I play relatively conservatively here, and I get my 130,000 just on these Overlords. Now you might be wondering why, as a sorcerer now and tons of hit points and mana, why am I not trying to farm out catacombs? Because you can do that pretty fast, and you can get 8 or 10,000 experience points in one fight. And short answer is just on average, Ogre Lords are still substantially faster, even though you can get very high burst experience in the catacombs. Because you have to heal, you got to go in and out of the catacombs a bunch. You got to heal up. You have multiple rounds, and it just adds up. Overlords are just, on average, they're just so much faster. Um, and I say faster, I mean I've sat down and timed it. And I think Overlords solo, it's about 17,000 K experience per minute, and then Hark Catacombs level 1 is about I think about 10, 8 or 10. I wrote it down somewhere, but it's substantially less, even though you can have some very good bursty stuff. And ultimately, you don't need equipment as a mage, as we'll find out here. All you need is a Lux Shield, and everything else is nice, but not needed. Although shield ring would have been very nice, and so would have a mithril plate mail or a shield staff, but shield staff's not needed. Mithril plate and a shield ring would have gone a long way in this one, but it worked out okay. Again, my mechanics are not so good. I've noticed that as I do a lot of these, the mechanics are kind of vary with my mental state, how much rest I got, what I ate, how the temperature, whether my hands are freezing or not. And this goes a lot faster. I think I was forced to fight this one actually, and that's the downside to being a low level sorcerer. Still, you can fail your rolls, or maybe I chose to fight that. I don't know. I don't recall. But you'll see I fail some fleas here in a bit. It also goes a whole lot faster. If you paid attention in the first set where I was dropping these Overlords, you end up, if you get hit once, you got to go back and heal up and return. But now that you have 140 hit points, you can always kill all three. You never have to worry about going back to heal up. So it ends up you get even faster over time. Where do I check and see how much I have? Bad mechanics, getting lost. I get lost a bunch in the speedrun too. Actually, I'm gonna have a little timer out as I'm talking to y'all, so I can time for myself how much time I lost. I think this is pretty fast, frankly, so far. Any mistakes are relatively minor, but I do make some bigger mistakes. I'm maybe 2 or 3 minutes slower than best possible times, but right now it's a lot of that's kind of subjective because or subject to RNG. There's a lot of RNG um, still to be had. Or RNG still has some influence on the game. It's less. Most of the RNG is in the first 20 minutes or so. And then your Lux Shield. Getting your Lux Shield is like the hardest part of the game. And we'll see how that happens in this game. I finally get a bunch of IQ points, but I'm 130,000, level 9. I have my Mind Blade. And my immediate, what I've been doing in the past, as soon as I get Mind Blade, is to go and farm Catacombs level 1. I go back to the guild reset. I don't like the nighttime because you fight a lot more. It's just a waste of time. So I reset it to daytime. And my initial thought was I was going to go get 2 levels with Mind Blade and the Catacombs and try to get my Mithril mithril scale. Yeah, I may have said mithril plate earlier. I meant mithril scale. So you can blow these guys away real fast. Mind Blade it's an amazing farm tool. Um, and I start thinking to myself, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go do specters. Like why? And and here's the reasoning: is that you need so much gold to get to wizard level 36 or 37, and you may as well start now. I don't know that you really need wizard level 37 to beat this solo, but that's what I've been doing. And the reason for that is just so I can complete it. I'll explain that in a bit when there's going to be a lot of really slow time as we kill the Spectre over and over and over again. So this bumps me up to Sorcerer level 10. And this was definitely the right move, by the way. This saved me a lot of time. And up here, if I remember correctly, I fail a flea. I'm a Sorcerer level 10 with 18 luck too. Oh, nope, I guess I did flee those. Maybe did I miss the flea earlier? Anyway, I end up having to Mind Blade and run. Um, yeah, I fled that doppelganger, which was lucky. Doppelgangers they're not dangerous, they just waste a lot of time, and you'll see that in a bit. And I say they're not dangerous. They can't cast the spells that you can. Um, all they can do is hit you for 10 to 15 points every round, which is usually not dangerous, but it can obviously complicate things if you're in a pinch. So I lost a little time here. Gotta sell my eyes before I can heal up my spell points. But you'll notice now I just have robes and a staff and don't really need much to keep going. Now I've got my wind dragon, my red dragon slash wind dragon. And now it's time I end up going to Harken level 1 here. Actually, no, I go straight to Harken 2, I think. And that ended up also being the correct move. I get the crystals. No, I go straight up here. So this is just pure luck. I get the Lux Shield right here. This was absolutely amazing. But it's a good point to know. I've always wondered if I mentioned earlier is plate armor and halberd were the items that were dropping really early. I teleport to get the crystal sword now, and then I go leave the Harken to heal and then come back. The Lux Shield goes along. It's great to get it early, but you can farm Harken 2 for literally an hour and not get a Lux Shield. It's really frustrating. Um, and I think it really has to do with the weird RNG on the item drops, where it gets into these cycles and it takes, you'll see same items over and over and over again, but some items won't appear. But the cycles vary based on the game. Anyway, maybe someday we'll know why that is. But um, finding that Lux Shield right there, that saved me like half an hour. I mean, that was a huge, I say half an hour, a good 20 minutes on average. Um, and what it lets me do now is I don't have to farm creeps anymore. I can just spend the rest of my time on the Spectre, which is basically what I do. So now for the next like hour, I will do nothing but kill the Spectre over and over and over again. Um, Actually, it's not quite that boring. And if my mechanics were better, I could probably get through that first half where they have the forced fights up to the first teleport a little quicker. I always cast the levitation spell because those traps slow you down. They mess up your rapid movement. I found that generally it's faster to just cast the Levi spell, levitation spell, and you can move over those traps a bit faster without it messing up your pace as much. Um, maybe there's a more efficient way, but that's the habit that I've developed. So I'm going to finish out my level 13 sorcerer, and then I'll jump to a magician. You see how those traps slow you down when you don't have levitation. So now I'm a magician. I'm a level 1 magician also, and this is one of those kind of risky times. You really need your wind dragon, and you cast it again to get a big fat one. 122 is almost as fat as I get. I don't know. I can't remember what their max is, but that's nice to get a. Only have to cast that twice to get a big fat one for you. Nothing like a big fat red dragon. And he kind of fails on his first fight too, which is sad, but whatever. Anyway, you have to. If you're level 1, you can't get level drained, or you can't heal and get to level 2 from the level drain. So you may as well go here to Harken 1 and farm it up real fast. And you'll notice here what do I get from this? Like 20,000, 14,000, 8,000, some enormous amount of experience per fight. Yeah, 25,000 experience for that. Got a mithril plate, which I need the mithril scale, but it's fast. I mean, it's very, very fast. And hopefully here you're targeting getting a shield staff, shield ring, um, mithril scale, anything so that in combination with the specter snare, you're going to have low AC. Elf cloak, not really useful because you need the inventory spots for the silver items, silver circle, triangle, and square. So I get lost in this little corner here. I rarely get lost in it, but then this speed run, I get lost in it like 4 times. Uh, I don't know. It was just poor mechanics on my end. It was cold, so cold when I was playing this game. So you see that I get like 9 levels, 8 levels, 10 levels, something like that, out of just one round of Harken, which is it's wonderful. But you have to have Mind Blade to be able to do that. I've tried it with Shock Sphere and it's just not effective, not time effective. Um, and you really can't get into Harkens until you have a wind drag. 'Cause killing that gray dragon is really kind of a pain. So this ends up being once you get the red dragon as a sorcerer, ends up being about the right time to go and do this kind of stuff. And Harken 1 tends to be faster. Like I would probably be in Harken 2 right now, except I already have a Lux Shield. Um, and I already have a Lux Shield. This is actually much faster than Harken 2. Um, and I don't really need any items that are on Harken 2 that I can't get here. So heal up the red dragon here. 122 hit points it's real nice, and it's ends up being, I think, more time efficient than trying to get another fat one. Another mithril item, but not what I need. I think I just dropped these right here. At this point, gold's the added gold. It's time efficient to just drop the stuff you don't need. See, I get lost in here yet again. So I have 130,000 experience. I don't think I bothered to level up. I think I just finish out, get to 230k, and I'm done. The Lux Shield helped a lot. A lot of times when I'm doing this, some things are repelling or getting half damage, but that Lux Shield really boosts you up. And having 18 luck, well, I should have 18 luck anyway by this point, but the Lux Shield helps a lot on the low levels. When you're a low level wizard and a magician. Anyway, so we just go out back in. I mean, there's a doppelganger here. I think I have a doppelganger. No, I dispose of him. I think later here I'll fight a doppelganger. And you can see it's just kind of a waste of time. Generally, blue dragons and doppelgangers, any kind of dragon or a doppelganger, I just don't fight it. It's just not time efficient. Yeah, here I fight a doppelganger, unfortunately. So we can see here how much time it adds to it. You have 2 orders. Now we're fighting doppelganger. I don't have Dest yet, do I? Mind Fist ends up being my best damage spell. So the doppelganger's the number 1, and I'm the number 2. They don't cast spells, they just try to beat on you. They actually hit pretty hard, don't they? Like 50 hit points. Anyway, so that took out 25 seconds. That was a 30-second waste of time. So much faster to just never fight doppelgangers, but you're hitting fights so fast in these. You're looking for it, but sometimes they slip past your vision, or you're just in auto mode and don't react properly. So I think after this fight, I'm just perfectly set up to go get my level 13 as a magician. I noticed there's some frame skipping going on because I'm doing some commands that the video doesn't show because the frame rate's kind of slow. But ends up working out. You can get a sense of what's going on. And now I'm a wizard at just under 40 minutes. So that's a decent time. I think I've beaten that before, but I'm a wizard with the Lux Shield at 40 minutes, which is just, that's a great, 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 wonderful time. And so I can't go to the Spectre yet. I have to uh, get a few levels. So I just go back to Harken 1. I still don't have a Mithril Scale or a Shield Ring or anything. The item drops here have been particularly bad, but hey, you've got a Lux Shield, so who's complaining too much? It ends up being kind of important at the last fight, and you'll see. It would have been real nice if I had gotten something here, but so be it. Anyway, I just do one round in here, I think, to get, 50k XP or something. Just get my wizard to level 2 or 3. Yeah, 46,000 experience in a minute. That's pretty good. And I get lost in here again. Another 10-second penalty. So I only need 4k to my next level, but it doesn't matter. It's time now to turn the red dragon into a stone elemental. Whack the stone elemental, so I'm by myself. Maybe there's a more efficient way to do that. But that's just sort of the one that comes to mind easiest, or comes to mind quickly. You really don't want to fight the red dragon for a wide range of reasons. I suppose I could mind fist him, or no, I probably couldn't actually. Dest wouldn't, he'd probably repel all my spells as a level 2 wizard, and I would never physically be able to kill him, so before he killed me. Um, you'll notice here, I'm pretty brave. Uh, I think I can. I have 300 hit points. So I'm not sure it's all that big of a deal, but um, I think here is where I fail a flea. I was talking about that earlier, and nope, I guess I made those. Anyway, the fastest way to level up is killing specters, and there's 2 specters of significance in the game. The first type of specter is this one right here. Excuse me a second. But at level 11, the wizard can summon a specter, and that ends up being very quick, but you still have to have 10 or 11k gold in order to heal and get your levels. So you have to kill the specter a whole bunch of times to get the eyeballs. I think that is the fastest way to get gold that I have found yet, uh, on a gold per minute basis. Um, and each time you kill the specter is basically worth about 2 1/3 levels. So if you need to get to level 37, you've got to kill the specter at least 16 or 17 times, plus once or twice for spells, plus, if you make mistakes, as you'll see here, you got to kill them again to get some more gold. Um, Anyway, a little monotonous. But it is what it is. So I'm level 5. I need to go. I need a bunch more levels. But I'm 45 minutes into this, and we'll see where I get to. To successfully make. So this ends up. I end up doing this in about 1 hour 26 minutes, something like that, at level 37. So I got to. You can get to level 20 fairly easy. I think level 20 as a wizard with a Lux Shield, you're going to flee pretty much everything, or at least you've got a good chance at it. So we'll see right about where we get level 20, because I think there's opportunities to do a lot faster. I don't think you could take a level 9 wizard and have any substantial hope of winning. Uh, you just, I mean, there's always, I think that a level 2 or level 3 hobbit, a pair of hobbit bards, or a bard and a monk, hobbit bard and a hobbit monk at level 3. In theory, if you could save state uh, on a DOSBox emulator, they could beat the game in about 15 minutes. And that's actually ends up being a function of um, the fact that you always have a 1/8 or 1 in 8 chance to flee from anything. And if you can save state, that Thor uh, special summon is just really, really nasty. He can do all kinds of cool things. Um, but that would take you a long time to do. And I think that the odds of like just a set of 4 level 13 heroes actually winning the game, I've roughly calculated as like 1 in a million or something like that, just because of the forced encounters in Mangar that are basically all fatal that you always have to flee from. There's a good 6 or 7 of them, plus the final fight where you've got to get some just incredible lucky rolls. So I'm not really interested in 1 in a million speed runs. I don't have enough life in me to do that, and it's not very interesting. Although I'm sure other people, sure, maybe other people are more dedicated than I am, but this is mostly just an amusing pastime for me, and I'm sort of near the end of it, honestly. I'm going to leave it to other people to figure out how to do this even faster. I don't think I really need to cast Levi Levitation here. I'm kind of just a creature of habit. See if I show what level I am right now. Level 8. Okay. So I think right now I have taken so far, I think the most efficient course possible. Um, there may be an argument that the last couple levels of the Magician should be done. Um, well, I don't know. I really should have had a shield ring or a mithril scale. If I had gotten those early, the last couple of levels should have been done as a magician in here on these specters. But considering that I didn't get those items, my time was best spent farming for them instead of doing it on the specters. So, and I'll explain that as we get to the end. But I guess this is kind of monotonous, so I can explain it here. The very end, the vampires end up summoning wraiths, and those things hit you, and you go insane, and you lose your ability to target, and you're equipped with a specter snare. So if you choose to target yourself with the specter snare, you kill yourself, and that's the end, and you lose. And without the mithril plate of the shield ring, your armor class is -7, and it's pretty easy for a wraith to hit that. I say pretty easy. They can definitely hit it. They're gonna miss sometimes, and they end up missing. But you really want low armor class going into that last fight because ghouls and wraiths can mess you up a little bit, particularly the wraiths. That was the big concern. Going nuts with a specter snare in your hands is just it's bad, 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 bad. So uh, you want to get the item drops early. We got a good Lux Shield drop, but we didn't get any Mithril Scale, no Shield Ring, no Shield Staff, no trying to think of the other items that would have helped. I think those are the main ones I'm looking for. You end up having to drop a Shield Staff, but Shield Ring and Mithril Scale will get you to where you need to be. Oh, Mithril Gloves, that was the other one. Yeah, I didn't get any Mithril Gloves either. Anyway, it was the most efficient. I made the right decision, I think. Just kind of thinking out loud here. So now we're at 52 minutes. What am I, 11 or 12 now? I'm kind of lost track. I'm not sure. I would have to really study hard to figure out a better strategy to do it under 1 hour. I kind of want to say it could be done. I mean, it absolutely can be done. It just but have a 1 in 20 or 1 in 30 chance of actually succeeding, which are meaningful odds, not 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 or 1 in a million. I want to say there may be a way to do it, and I think if there is a way, well, I'll save speculation until I test things out, but there may be a way to do it. So I'm level 11, I'll be bumped up to 12 after I heal up. And I'm about to be a level 13 wizard at under an hour. That's a pretty good time. I think pretty much from now on, I'm setting records and fastest I've ever done this up to this point. Anyway, you always have 2 forced encounters right here in the catacombs, plus any random encounters, plus traps along the way. I don't know if it's taken time to realize where all the forced encounters are. I've spent some time in the early game, you know, the first 13 levels of the Conjure, trying to figure out what the most efficient route is. And I think this is really showing it. That's which is one of the reasons I take the half orc is you are kind of struggling with mana, and that slows things down a little bit compared to a half elf, which would be your next best option, or maybe human. But having I would actually say that a half elf could probably do it the fastest, but you end up having to have some really good rolls on your hit point rolls on your first several levels as a half elf, so that by level 10 you have enough hit points to get to the specter and like absorb a hit um, and return safely. And I was just kind of getting frustrated dying all the time as a half elf in that process, so I just switched over to half orc. Because the mana you can get you know the contrary is true also if you get or the contra version is true also if you get a bunch of good um, mana rolls as a half orc, you really don't. It's not a big deal. I mean, you end up being in roughly the same place as a half elf. Um, but overall, it's just faster uh, in terms of the time that you spend as a human um, attempting speed runs. You get better success in the speed runs in the early part as a. So here I make a big mistake. I'm going to start my timer now. No, not right yet. So here I am. I'm level 13. I'm going to go get the silver. It's on this on the triangle, I think. No, square is this is the first one. So this is a silver square. I get lost here. Not a, really only a 10-second loss, but frustrating. So you can see my typing really isn't that bad. It's just my hands are just freezing at this time. So I've got silver square. I equip it. And now, you got to run out of here. You can't port a cane in level 2 at all. All right, here I make my first mistake. I'm trying to go to Hearken, which is the right step, except you'll notice I don't have a hero with me that has an equipped crystal sword. And that was me. That little blip there was me opening up a browser because I don't have the Hearken map memorized. I have multi-screens here, and I'm looking at one screen and navigating. And it's right about now that I realize, oops, I don't have a way out of here. And so guess what I have to do? Yeah, there's no way out. No crystal sword, you cannot leave Calirian. So I was tempted to end the speed run, but I was like, well, I've only wasted a little bit of time. I'm not going to do it. I've done it. I have a half elf speed run that I posted. I didn't record it at all. That I did it without death. Um, but it's absolutely reasonable to create one other hero here to salvage a speed run. So I've lost 1 minute 20 seconds so far in this process, and I want to make it as solo as possible. So I eliminate my bard here, minimize his contribution, essentially just resurrecting me, and equipping the crystal sword so we can kill the crystal golem and Clarion. but now I got to go get another eye. I've now wasted 1:50. And I started my timing basically when I started teleporting up to level 3 of Clarion. I'm going to stop right when I get to the point where I teleport to level 3 of Harken. So when I started the timer when I started to teleport to level 3 of Harken. That's when I'm going to end the timer. And so far it's cost me 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Three minutes. And about 3 minutes and 15 seconds is that death. But I'm so far ahead that ultimately that ends up being okay. I really would have loved to have done this solo YOLO, but meaning all by myself essentially, except for the bard where you have to use the crystal thing. I ended up getting lost here, which also cost me a little bit of time. My brain is just shutting down by this point. Got to find the eastern one, not the west. I always get east and west confused for some reason when I'm deep into the speed run. A lot of this can be navigated blind. Up to about here. Now I gotta go pause for a second, look at my map, navigate around, get the silver triangle. And the rest of Clarion's tower goes pretty well. Yeah, so the rest of Clarion is just a maze, and there's a death trap that is, yes, I've run into it doing my speed runs. It's frustrating to get to this point and misclick and go one room extra and die. Yeah, so if you get straight instead of right, you die. Well, you get stuck in a stasis trap. Basically, you can't leave the room, and there's only way out. The only way out is death. But from here on out, it's pretty easy. In fact, you just go a couple more rooms, and you've got your Onyx key. You can enter Mangar. And being the nice guy that I am, I think I resurrect my bard and because I may kill you, but then I'll bring you back to life. Isn't that nice of me? So now I'm level like 14-ish or something like that. And I still need to bump 15. Yeah, and I've got 200,000 gold, which about 10k per level gets me up to 20 levels to about level 35. I gotta dispose my stone elemental here because he'll mess up the specter hunting. So I still need a bit more gold. Sorry, 200,000 gold, that's equivalent of 20 levels, level 35. So I need at least 2 more eyeballs, maybe 3, because really it's like 11,800 gold or something like that to heal up. So I need a few more eyeballs. Plus you get a bonus level for every eyeball you get too, right? So 3 eyeballs, 4 eyeballs. Anyway, I ended up being here a little more than I should. And we'll see why that is in a little bit. So far, aside from mechanical errors, which has probably cost me about 2 minutes to this point, I have 3 minutes and 15 seconds and just a foolish error not bringing my bard along to go to Clarion. That would have put me at 1 minute, about 120 if I had worked a little harder here. Oh yeah, so now I'm just going to level up on specters. And you basically, at level 15, you can always instant kill them with Dest. So just go back and forth, summon a specter. You party attack it, and because my AC is so high, I can't hit it. And then that ensures that this next round, he will always attack me. And because he has such a higher attack priority, he will successfully attack me before I can kill him or before my spell goes off. Because I'm low enough level for that to happen. And then we just repeat this process over and over again until you run out of gold. And then, oops, what was that? So instead of, I'm going to time this here. So that was about 107.8 that happened. So that cost me about 30 seconds. About 40 seconds, really. Yeah, we'll say 30 seconds. Sometimes you get liches, you gotta recast it again till you get a specter. Anyway, I make one more really funny mistake here later on. Now at this point, frankly, I think once I get it roughly level 20, and we'll see where I am in just a second. Anyway, party attack, attack the specter, then party attack again and cast Dest. Let's see what level. Do I check my level? I don't check my own level. Yeah, you can see my mechanics are just off. I think if you watch carefully in one of these, I actually target myself again. I press, ask who do I want to cast it on. I press 1 instead of S, and then I catch it right at the last minute. Let's see, where am I? Level 21. So right now I'm level 21. I think 21 would be a reasonable level to go try Mangar. I'd have to experiment a bit by just leveling it using an editor to put him at 21 and see what kind of luck I can get at Mangar. But if I left for Mangar right now, I can do Mangar in about 5 minutes. So a 1 hour 15 minutes wouldn't be so bad. And if you just subtract the 5 minutes, basically almost 6 minutes that I've wasted, a 1 hour and 10-minute speed runs should be reasonable with some good some similar RNG to this one. That shaving off that last 10 minutes though is that's a real challenge, and it's really a function of what level can you as a wizard, at what level can you get, you have a reasonable chance to successfully flee, and most importantly, you've got to repel the vampire lord's dest attacks that instantly kill you, or just hope that they don't cast it, which is you know, a reasonable option also. But there's nothing worse than spending an hour and a half only to get to Maengar, or spending an hour to get to Maengar and die over and over and over again. That gets real old real fast. Life's too short to just waste your life speedrunning Bard's Tale. Anyway, I get lost here. I don't know why, it's quite obvious where I should go, but it's frustrating. Um, anyway, I recognize I need more gold, so I've got to go whack this guy a few times, and I'll make another mistake here very soon. Basically, I probably should just tell you in advance, I end up running out of gold with really low mana, like 2 mana, which is really problematic because you need mana to make gold. And there's really no time effective way to make gold if you don't have mana at this point in the game. Because I don't have a red dragon with me, I don't have uh, mana to cast anything in even level 1 of Catacombs, and I can't really physically kill anything very quickly. It's just kind of painful. So um, you'll see what I do. I don't completely run out of gold. I've got like 3k gold, but I need 6k gold to heal my mana up. I end up figuring it out, but it cost me some time, and it was very avoidable if I had been paying attention to my economics, and I wasn't. Next, I think so. I've got 114 mana. I think by the time I get to about 2 mana, I realize I've made some mistakes here. I really should be paying attention to my gold at this time. And also, alternatively, I shouldn't let myself get so low in spell points. I'm trying to maximize my efficiency, and I know how many points I need to get to the next level, but I guess it's this next mana pool that I deplete all the way. You'll notice I'm pushing the number 1 a lot here. It's just mentally worn out and cold, and my fingers are not working well. Yeah, so I'm level 31. I need to get to 37 because I want, if I get hit by a vampire, I want to stay level 36 or at least be at 36 so that I'm very certain to always repel their spells. At 36, nothing can hit you, period. I think actually as a wizard it may be a little earlier. I'd have to go double check my throws again, but I'm also real concerned about the possession trap. I haven't entirely figured out what kind of throws I need to escape that. That's why I'm leveling up here so much, hoping for the best possible throw. Because I end up getting, I've had some real good runs that just die at the possession trap, and I think I've figured the right way out to do it. But my experiments have been somewhat unpredictable, and it may be a random chance. It may be I found the right way to do it. I'm not sure. So nonetheless, I passed the possession trap in this one, but I'm part of me, and I need to just exhaustively test it, and I don't know, maybe I'll let someone else do that, but if they care enough. And really, there's a forum that people probably could just analyze the code and tell me exactly how it works, and I could do the math and figure out what the right throw is to have a reasonable chance of passing it. But anyway, just for safety's sake, and it makes it easier to win the game when you're level 36. Nobody can kill you unless uh, the only thing that can kill you is the stone demons physically attacking you or Mangar physically attacking you. So, because demon lords stone when they hit and Mangar critical strikes. Vampire lords can drain levels, but they can't. They got to do a bunch of hits to really get you. They don't. I've got 600 hit points right now. They'd have to hit me at least 6 times, maybe 10 times, depending on how they roll. Not enough gold. Yes, and I've got 16 mana. So I'm thinking to myself, well, no problem. I'll just go heal up my mana. Nope, 6k gold. I have 3k gold. Now I'm in a pinch. And I'm not thinking straight yet. And I port a cane, which is the wrong move. Well, it was the right move. I panicked right here. I have 2 mana. This is enough to do it. And I chose not to because I didn't realize that I had enough. I'm thinking right here, I'm thinking to myself, can I do it? Nope. And I back out. In fact, I need to get my timer going. That was about, let's see, 18:10, let's say. So this ends up costing me, really it was about 18 minutes that I first realized I ran out of gold. Well, I would have run out of gold anyway. That I ran out of gold is not an efficiency concern, but this right here is wasted time at least. And I go buy a light wand because I know I need at least 2 casts to quickly get out of the catacombs. In reality, I only needed 1 cast to get out. I could have done it with the 2 mana. And if actually I do it with the 2 mana. I get a Dayblade or a light wand. I end up buying the light wand. Because my fear is I'd get stuck in the darkness and trying to exit catacombs, and that would just be a waste of life. I got to walk all the way down. So I've now wasted a minute 15 at least. And I'm going to stop my time wasting when I start walking down that long corridor where I have my first forced encounters. So I'm going to stop time right about here. Because I ran out of gold, I would have had to walk all this anyway. So I lost about a minute 40. And everything else I do really efficiently. So I would say in this, if I had not made mistakes and consistently, and my mechanics were just slightly better. So I lost about 7 minutes. About 7.5 minutes. So this could have been about, I could right now have finished Mangar at about a 120. So a sub 120 is definitely doable with no silly mistakes and just slightly better mechanics that are really easy to do. It doesn't have to be constantly fast perfect, but uh, just not making just terrible mistakes in my mechanics would have gone a long way. All right, now we're back in business. You know, I had to go get the gold. That part wasn't running out of gold wasn't the issue. It was just running out of mana while being out of gold at the same time was the efficiency loss there. And if I hadn't had to resurrect myself twice, I wouldn't have to go and done that. So definitely a 115 would definitely be possible here. But now I'm ready to go. We want a wind giant for the red dragon fight because they strike first and they hit fairly hard. They've got a pretty good chance of killing the red dragon the first round. It doesn't really matter, but it's nice not having to waste mana to heal myself after the red dragon fight now because I'll repel all the spells and they can't damage me enough to kill me. So Mangar here goes really well. Possession Trap goes well. The fight goes incredibly well. And so we report a cane to the circle. Now I've got everything I need. I don't drop the key. I just drop my staff instead because I'm not going to fight until I have the Spectre Snare anyway. Now we unlock the stairs. And I'm bouncing around a random square until I get to the right way. I'm about to jump up to level 4 on Mangar. Mangar, I don't know how to say it. To me it's Mangar. Mangar. Maybe I do both. I don't know. Slight mechanical error there. All right, here's the red dragons. This goes really well. And of course, it goes well when you're level 36. You just blow them away. It's not a big deal. Now you got the Thor figurine. I'll equip it. I keep the Onyx key. I think that's the right move because it's still a fast speedrun if I die at Mangar and just heal myself and come right back. It's pretty quick to get here. Sometimes I drop the key to just commit myself to the, especially if I'm trying to do it solo without dying once. I'll drop the key over the staff, but usually it's a shield staff by this time. I just didn't get the roll. All right, so possession trap is right up here. Basically, you want to go into the possession trap with no one but yourself. So get rid of the wind dragon, replace him with an ogre, kill the ogre off, and I go into the possession trap, and I survive. Yay! And now next major obstacle is Mangar. Just let you know my approach. You got to get rid of the demon lords first. So you got to cast Dest on the demon lord. That's the single most consistent way to do it. Particularly because you'll see here I don't get low AC, so I have to do the math. I'm not sure if I can hit him with Spectre Snare, but probably my cast priority is either equal to or better than. I'm not sure about the better than, but it's at least equal to, I think, my attack priority. And Dest will always kill. A Spectre Snare would always kill too, but Um, anyway, I think Dest ends up being the best way with 7 AC and not having time to do the math real fast to see if I can actually hit the Demon Lord. Anyway, at the Spectre Snare, I get it. I invoke Thor. Or I don't know, and I just like use the item and Thor comes. Spell up. I want to make sure that I go south instead of east here. So I Dest the Demon Lord. And good, we got a breath. Wraiths are coming. Thor takes out a Demon Lord. Dest a Mangar now. Thor goes down to the Vampire Lord attacks. That's fine. I'm going to Dest a Vampire Lord. Now you notice the Wraiths are missing me. If they make me go insane, this could go really bad. That's why I really needed the Shield Ring or the Mithril Scale. But I Mind Blade them, and the game's over. I win. Thank you for watching. Hope it was interesting and informative.